Hey there everybody, and welcome back to more Parasite Eve 2! Last time we entered the mines on the way to the shelter, and we lost Kyle! Oh no! So let's go ahead and explore this area, and hopefully we can figure out what happened to him. We did find his gun, but we did not see the body, and as you know in fiction, if you don't see a body, it doesn't count. Unless the actor decided to leave the show or movie series. Because sometimes, then those characters die off screen. Huh. I don't know about you guys, but this doesn't look like any shelter I've ever seen. Granted, I don't think I've ever seen a shelter, but this is not what I would think a shelter would look like. And if you hear that sound of rats dying, those are lasers shooting them. It's essentially a new enemy type, these automated lasers that will shoot you, of course. Annoying. Fortunately, they will take care of our enemies, so now I'm just kind of waiting things out, waiting for them to take out the rats so I don't have to. And hopefully I'll still get the EXP for them dying. And then I can just take these things out. Kind of an odd enemy choice. I'm not sure I approve, but if they had been railguns or something along those lines, I guess I could understand. Given what we know about this area, we can assume that whoever funded the construction of this area, they would want some sort of automated defenses in case something went down. Which, to be fair, is more proactive than anything Umbrella ever did. Umbrella lost the mansion, all of Raccoon City, Rockford Island, the base in the Antarctic, and that island in Survivor. And a vote in Dead Aim, if you want to count that game. Speaking of Dead Aim, when I was talking about horror games that take place on a boat, I forgot about Cold Fear, a game I do want to play, but I hear the PS2 version, which is the one I have, is pretty awful. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do about that. I know there is a Steam version, but I hear you have to mod it in order to get it working properly, and I'm barely getting introduced to PC gaming. I don't know how to do mods at all. Oh, these things. They are really annoying. They are the worst enemies in the game so far. You can't kill them with bullets. They will drain your magic and use it against you, as you're about to see here. And once they do this, you enter some sort of a status effect where you can't use magic for a while. Why? Because this game hates you. I tried this once, and I don't remember if I died or just reset the game because I knew I wasn't going to survive. Either way, at this point, I decided to go ahead and attack anything I could while waiting to hope that the status ailment would wear off. And I tried the flashlight just in case it would stun these things, which it might have, I'm not sure. And I shot the thing again, just trying to stun it just to bide myself some time to hopefully regain the ability to use magic. That's the only way you can kill these things, pretty much. There is a weapon we're going to pick up this video, which I believe you can use its secondary attack to kill them. Come on, rats. You dirty rat. There's an interesting file that I don't get in here. If you check a locker, you'll see references to a guy named Dr. Bowman, I believe his name is. And he goes on about how he's volunteering for this procedure, which is going to help him ascend to a higher level of consciousness or a new being or something. I'm not sure what exactly he's on about. Rantings of a madman. But it is a good precursor to a long file I'm going to show off later. So if you're playing this for yourself, you might want to look for that. If you're not, I don't really think you're missing out too much. Like I said, it's more ramblings of a madman than anything else. As opposed to Diary of a Madman, which is something far, far better. Oh boy. These things are back. Hooray! And I hear something automated. That does not bode well. Now see, these make more sense. Some sort of railguns. Take a seat. The lasers don't really make any sense, and I don't like games including them. It's one thing if Dead Space were to do it. Dead Space takes place in the future. I could see lasers existing in a world like that. But anything like Resident Evil, Revelations, or this, I just don't buy lasers existing in those worlds. But those cameras that actually shoot bullets at you, those I'm okay with. They remind me of the things in Metal Gear Solid. Huh, interesting. So if we go over here, we discovered that this thing can take our battle points. It's really for a game reason, but I do like that Aya notices that this is kind of peculiar that it recognizes her. Not specifically, but it recognizes somebody who's a hunter. And she can use her battle points here. Why mist technology is here, I don't know. I don't know if that's something that's going to come up later on in the game. But it is a bit peculiar. So we see this door that's locked. You remember this black key card that we picked up in video 2? This is what we were saving it for. And in here we've got the armory. Cue the Overkill song. This room acts as a shortcut. We can unlock this door and it'll take us back out to one of the areas we were in earlier this video. So that might be useful later, I'm not sure. We also have 3 stacks of infinite ammo. We've got the 9mm Parabellum rounds, of course. We've also got buckshot and 9mm Hydra. So we should not need the Parabellum rounds ever again. I haven't been using them since video 2, I think. And you really should not be using them at this point. They are pretty weak sauce. They are essentially the knife from Resident Evil. And I'm just pointing it out there. There's also a shotgun in here. I showed it briefly. My inventory was full, so I had to come back off screen to pick it up. So once we're done with there, we come in here, and hey, does this room look familiar to anybody? If you remember that dream that we saw Aya have a couple of videos back, we saw a little girl walking around in an area like that. And there are a few rooms in this base that look like that, so I'm not sure if that's the same one from the dream, but it definitely looks similar. Either way, it's interesting. And one of the last things I remember about this game. So this video, we're actually going to get further than I've ever been in this game before. I don't remember any of this at all. We've got a boss fight coming up, and I tried that boss fight once, died, and decided I didn't want to do it again, and just never played the game again until this LP. Okay, that's not completely true. I did mention a couple years back, once I finished Parasite Eve 1, I did play a little bit of this game, but not much. I still can't believe it's been 3 years since I played, actually 4 years since I played Parasite Eve 1, almost. May of this year, it's March right now, it'll be 4 years since I played that game. Holy shit. I know it took me about a year to finish uploading that playthrough. Doing the dialogue is such a pain in the ass, and fortunately for this game, there's less dialogue and I found easier ways of recording that dialogue, so that doing everything is not such a pain in the ass. But I read off the dialogue partly to get the story for myself because I've mentioned before, I don't know the stories of these games unless I read it off. And partly to give a more authentic experience for anybody watching. Not to mention anybody who's visually impaired like me and can't read the dialogue for themselves. Yet I don't do subtitles for the deaf. But then again, I don't really like subtitles. I feel like they get in the way of watching the cutscenes. Just a personal preference, that's all. Plus, I assume if you're watching a YouTube video, you don't want to have to pause the video all the time just to make sure you get the whole story. Even though I say pause and read any files that we come across, which is going to happen again in this video. But that's fine. Files are things that you can read as optional text if you want to or not. I feel like conversations should be read off. And I don't like that this game does not have voiced dialogue. I would have even been willing to accept the game being an extra disc or two in order to get the voiced dialogue. We're already dealing with a lot less sound than I feel like we should be. Not as bad as the first game, which seemed devoid of sound beyond music and a few key sound effects that you need for the game. Walking around, shooting, a few enemy sounds, but it seemed like the environments weren't very alive. So, finally we get to a save point. We've been going all this time without one. And I don't like going extended periods of time in games without a save point. So that is very nice. I will be taking advantage of that. There's also that box there for storing items. Hopefully we'll end up back over here so that I can pick it up. I assumes that this phone is secure, but who knows. Just doing a double check of my inventory. So let's go ahead and see what's the what in here. Be a good little girl and open the door. She's in there and she welded it shut.
Such a little girl. What is she?
I don't know. I have never completed this game before. Hopefully we will find out. For now, we're going to go through the store and hope that we get nothing but good things, but unfortunately, we are treated to nothing but pain. Damn you! I was going to call it a monster, but it's not. Whatever you are, damn you! So as I mentioned before, I picked up that shotgun. So I decided to use it a little bit here. Unfortunately, I don't have any of the good rounds for it, so I'm just using the buckshot. But I did want to show it off. I don't know that I'm going to use it anymore. I'll probably go back to my rifle, which after we hit up that merchant, I did purchase an attachment for the rifle, which does make it a bit different. It gives us a stun ability as our secondary attack instead of the single shot. Kind of like an upgraded version of the flashlight that we've seen on a machine gun and the handgun that I used earlier this video. And we can refill the battery for that at any BP shop. So I will have to remember that for later. And it's time to meet a new enemy! Hooray! These things are annoying. I don't like them. And they make silly sounds. I feel like I have stories to tell. I know there are things I wanted to talk about over the last few weeks that I've been doing these videos that I've forgotten about. One thing that I do think is funny is about a month ago I went for pizza with a friend of mine and her husband. I decided to take a picture of the pizza that I got. And the reason being I was going to send a picture of this to a friend of mine who introduced me to this place. I knew he'd appreciate it. I decided to send it to another friend of mine. And she got all butthurt. Not only once in text, but the next time that we actually talked on the phone. Then I went out for pizza. I'm not sure what her issue is with that, but it's really strange. She's always had this kind of motherly attitude, and I don't really get it. It's like she doesn't think I'm capable of making decisions for myself and living with the consequences if I make a bad decision. Damn it, I'm not like most people. Come on now. So I thought that was funny, and a couple weeks later, I take a picture of a drink that I make. This isn't normal for me, but for whatever reason in the last month I decided to do this. And I sent it to her, and she complained about the ice that I had in my drink, and I don't know what her issue was with that. It seemed really, really strange. She's been kind of a voluntary recluse over the last year or so, due to the pandemic more so than anything else. Which is fine. I'm not going to make fun of anybody for making that decision for themselves, but some people just can't do that or just don't want to do that. Pick up that Coca-Cola can. I'm sure that will be very useful. This is a pause it if you want to read it sort of thing. This is an incredibly long file. I doubt she will watch this, but if the friend of mine that's helping me do the voices for this game ever does, be glad I did not send this off to you to read. I would not do that to her. I would not do that to anybody else. So if you don't want to pause this and read it, that's okay. The gist behind this file is essentially one of the workers here talks about a Dr. Bowman, who I mentioned earlier, who is brought on. The guy's a jerk. And he talks about some sort of a monkey that was one of their test animals that got along really well with the other animals and the staff. This guy was pretty fond of this thing. Not in a weird AIDS sort of way, but just, pretty fond of the thing. Like, he wanted this monkey to live, which is respectable. Or she, I'm not really sure what the gender of the scientist is, and I don't really care. And essentially the monkey gets killed and thrown in some sort of a garbage dispenser with all the other dead animals and body parts. It's all grotesque and horrific. Then he talks about Bowman undergoing these procedures, which is referenced in that other file that I did not get. And kind of how Bowman is acting. I feel like we're going to see Bowman here in a little bit, but I don't know for sure. We're going to meet what I assume is a new character. And I'm assuming it's Bowman, but I don't know for sure. I died doing what we're about to do, so I had to go ahead and replay this, and I was really annoyed because I could not skip reading this. And I didn't want to not check it because I didn't know what you need to check and what you don't in this game. Some games are weird. You have to check certain items or files in order to get certain events to happen. And I didn't want to run the risk of missing out on something because I wanted to avoid this long-ass file that I'd already read once. Actually, I haven't read it, but whatever. and didn't want to read again or, well, read at all. Something that happened to me last week. I bid on this item on eBay and got the high bid only to discover that I was not granted the purchase of the item because my bid still did not meet, I forget what the term is for it, but essentially what the minimum price that the seller was willing to accept. Which was really strange. I did not know that was a thing. I always wondered what happened if you were selling something on eBay and didn't get the price you wanted. How that worked. I know there's a term for it, which I had never heard until this past week or so. So I thought that was really interesting, but I don't remember what the term was. And I'm ashamed to admit it, but I will. The item I bid on was a PS3 game. Pretty much the only actual game in a series that I've done that I have not done. There's also a reimagining that I did not do, but I would never play that game because it serves no purpose. I bid on Downpour. But I did stick to my guns. I was only willing to pay $20 or less for that game, including shipping. And I went through my annual rewatch of the Twin Perfect Silent Hill series. Their review of Downpour is one of my favorite videos on YouTube. And as I was watching that, and this was after I'd already bid on the thing, I thought to myself, yeah, this was probably a bad idea for me to bid on that anyway. So I was pretty happy. I saw somebody else bidding on the thing, which was upping the amount that the item was going to go for. I'd put a max bid of $16 on the thing, because with shipping it would have come out to $20 even, which was the maximum I was willing to pay for the item. And it got up to $15.50, and I was thinking to myself, come on, somebody please just bid $1 more. Get me over the $16 mark so I don't win the game. And that didn't happen, but I didn't meet the seller's price tag, so I didn't get it anyways. It's kind of weird. Part of me kind of wants to play that game, and part of me doesn't. It's kind of a strange sort of a thing. It is one thing that I am really proud of. It's the first game in a major series that I'm a fan of that I have not purchased. Huh, I wonder what's in here.
Ow, you motherfucker. It spoke. Let's hope it was wrong.
Fortunately, that's something I did not have to voice act. I'm happy about that. So this is apparently going to be our next destination at some point. I'm pretty sure next video we're going on a side quest. I'm not sure the extent of that, but I've been trying to research what we need to do to get the best ending of the game. And I'm pretty sure that involves not exploring this area further next video. I will do more research on that, so I will have spoiled parts of this game going forward. But again, I do want to get the best ending. Especially since this is the final Parasite Eve game. There's no other Parasite Eve game. It's Parasite Eve 1 and 2. That's it. Although I feel like they should make a prequel game, going over the events in Japan that are referenced in the first game. I think that would be pretty cool. And one of those annoying things that I talked about before is in this area. Somewhere around here, I'm going to end up getting hit by it. I'm not happy about that, but I'm going to go with the same strategy that I had before, which is walking around confused, hoping I find something I can actually kill until the status ailment wears off. I really don't like these things. They are encouraging me to use a Game Shark. I really don't care for them. Fuck you. You get... No, I don't know. I will actually put that up to viewers. Does anybody actually want to see me play Silent Hill Downpour? If that's something somebody wants me to do, I will certainly consider it. Again, I'm not paying more than $20 for the game, though. I refuse. It's not that good of a game. In fact, I should really pay less than that. Really, I should only pay about $5 for the game, if I'm being honest. Alright, so that's done. And of course, we have to deal with more enemies. We're basically backtracking to our save point of this area. So we're now about as far as I've been in this game. We're backtracking to the save point, and that's it. That's as far as I got, except attempting the boss fight of this area. Which is why when I saw that dream sequence with that little girl a couple of videos back, and she was walking around in a room like this, I actually recognized this room, which was kind of surprising. I didn't really spend a whole lot of time here, so this isn't an area I thought I would remember, but I guess it is fairly distinct. Damn it, monster, you guys take way too long to kill. Just die, motherfucker. I decided to look at an LP playlist of this game just to see how much further I have to go in this game. And apparently, once we're done with this video, we're only going to be about halfway done with this game. Which is really surprising because this area feels like an endgame area. I mean, we're in a base of some sort. Oh, I forgot to mention earlier as we were entering the area, there was a bit of dialogue that you could get that actually references Daniel from the first game. I couldn't find it, I don't know where it is, but I know it's a thing that does exist. It's nothing super important to the story, but it is nice to get a reference to those characters in the first game. I don't feel like the characters in this game are as good as the characters in the first game. I think Aya is a little better, but only because all the other characters talk much less than they do in the first game. I think Aya talks about the same amount as she did in the first game. I could be wrong on that, I don't know. She's a pretty quiet character. I guess that's the Japanese idea that women should be seen, not heard. Sometimes I agree with that, sometimes I don't. It just depends on the situation. It's kind of like anything. Any group of people that you want to pick out, some are cool, some aren't. And I was intending to end the video here, I probably should have, but instead we're going to get the first 40+ minute video of the LP. Now let's go ahead and go through here.
The fumigation system. I've got to get out of here.
Oh no, what are we going to do except check this thing, and we're going to jump down here. And yes, I'm using my Game Shark for this. I tried it legit several times and failed.
Ow, my ass.
and say hello to the glutton boss. I think this might be an amalgamation of that monkey that was referenced in that long file. Be careful when it does that because it's trying to suck you into an instant death, which it got me every attempt that I made at this boss fight. Prior to my first successful completion of this boss battle, which you guys are not seeing. So use grenades here as much as you can. I'm using magic because why not? And just try to not get sucked in, and you should be okay. Yes, I got a stat buff because I am using a Game Shark. Fuck you, I did not want to do this legit considering I tried it several times and failed. Not worth it. I guess they had to go with an instant kill move in order to give this boss some challenge because it wouldn't really be challenging otherwise. Sure, it has some dangerous attacks, but really its insta-kill move is its biggest feature. And it is interesting trying to avoid getting sucked into something while fighting a boss. That's not something I've experienced before. Oh God. And of course you gotta be careful once it starts progressing forward. Basically we're trying to do enough damage to this thing to get it to walk forward until we kill it. That'll be more important once we get to the second phase of this fight. I'm not sure how far I got in my original attempt at playing this game through this fight. Just die! Nobody likes you! Oh yeah, and it can spawn these enemies, which are new enemies, which we'll meet probably next video. I'm not going to worry about them though, because combustion takes care of everything. Except getting sucked into this thing. For that, you have to run away. I had a lot of trouble with this area because with the camera angle changes and the tank controls, sometimes I couldn't tell which direction Aya was facing because of my blindness. So a lot of times she got sucked into this thing because I couldn't see which direction she was facing, so I knew which way to turn to run away. And in that sense, I really don't like the whole tank controls thing. Damn it, you! Stop laughing! It's not that funny! Maybe it is, I don't know. Damn it, monster, you suck! Well, there's phase 1 of the fight down. I'm going to go ahead and upgrade my magic, which is going to reduce my magic back to normal. Which is cool, I guess. That's pretty much the only exploit I used during that fight, was the enhanced magic that I got from using my Game Shark. And immediately run away. Yep, we're in the second phase of the fight. I recommend before doing this, during phase 1, use all your magic because you will get a refill once you upgrade your magic there, if you do what I did. Once you hit this thing, just run on it. It will try to suck you in, so be sure you're running so that that doesn't happen to you. Parts of this will be fast forwarded because I do spend a lot of time here just running on this thing because I did not want to insta die. I've only beat this boss fight twice. Once prior to what you're seeing, and this encounter ended up being a lot better than my original, so I figured I would go with this instead. I had to redo this fight because I lost part of the recording. And fortunately it turned out a lot better. And now you're seeing the upgraded rifle that I'm using. Do not get sucked in. And I've maxed out that kinesis ability, so we do get an enhanced attack for that. But during the first phase of this fight, I highly recommend using all your magic because you should get that refilled for this stage of the fight. And I get annoyed because half the time I cannot get her to target this thing with the magic. It's kind of annoying. I switched off to the rifle here because the grenade shoots way too slowly, and I don't really feel like I need it at this point. And it turns out I don't, so it works out. So basically here we're trying to coerce this thing to move forward. And as it does, you come over here, run in place, so that you don't get sucked in. And be careful when you reload your gun. I do recommend doing that there because it's a safe place to reload your gun. Just be careful because he can try to suck you in while she's reloading. I would think it should be Aya should be the one trying to suck, not him. Oh wait, what? What? Oh, that was terrible of me. Damn it. I have actually been much less of a perv towards female game characters lately. I would say over the last year I've been much less. Probably a lot in Resident Evil 1, but overall I would say much less than I have been in the past. So we're still just trying to get this thing to move up. You can kill this thing with normal ammo. But why bother if you don't have to? Plus, we get a cooler death killing it this way. And we still get all the benefits of the XP. So why not do it the way we're doing it? Come on, you big oaf! Blah, blah, blah. You're just an overgrown, ugly vacuum cleaner. No one cares. I'm pretty sure that attack is poisonous, so be careful for that. Come on! I probably could have done this without the added stat buff from the Game Shark. Oh god. But I didn't want to take the chance. I died to this thing several times before I used it. And this is not a walkthrough, so if anybody has a problem with that, well, I don't know what to tell you, except it's my video and I do what I want. Come on, you big oaf! You're a lot of the reason this video is as long as it is. I wanted to not go over the 40-minute mark on any of the videos in this LP. But no, you had to take forever. This thing seriously takes forever to move forward. There we go. Monster defeated. Fuck you. In fairness, death is probably a relief for this thing. Oh, and for that we get added experience and battle points. And the incinerator is about to go off, which is where we are. You can actually get some extra items and fight some extra enemies.
Is anyone there? Open up, please. Anyone? Can you hear me? Please, open the door. Kyle, you're alive. Hey, Hotness.
On a first name basis, are we?
You. Thank you. You saved my life.
Nah, I prefer my partners rare instead of well done. That's all.
How did you get here?
Those dog things caught up with me in the mine. Got me right by that crevice. We went tumbling down and down.
And you survived? I do like a durable man.
For better or worse, I landed on top of one of those dogs. When I came to, there it was, out cold. Good thing too, or I'd be a doggy snack. Girl, you have a pretty smile.
What? Hey!
Whatever, let's blow this popsicle stand, it stinks here. Or maybe that was you?
You're not so fragrant yourself.
Oh, she's not really one with the comebacks. That is really strange, though. Kyle is saying that he got taken down at that crevice where we had to get that board in order to cross last video. Except we saw his handgun after that point, so we know he made it past that somehow. There's a save point here, go ahead and save your game. So I'm not sure what he's on about. I feel like he's lying. There's also an area where you can fight extra enemies, get an extra item, but we were on a timer. I didn't want to take the chance of dying as that boss fight was really difficult, so I didn't go for it. So hopefully I will not get screwed over later. Thanks for watching. I will see you next time with more Parasite Eve 2.